A lot has been made recently of the cold temperatures across not only our country, but across the continent, mostly through the eastern portions, right? But I want to take you through a little tour of our weather. We have some snow on the way, so yes, we still have winter conditions, but we're not going to be seeing excessive amounts necessarily in the GTA or in the Hamilton area. We're looking at 2 to 4 centimeters of snow, maybe some enhancement east of Oshawa, toward Cobourg, and then back toward Guelph. Low pressure system does come in with a bit of a punch as far as wind is concerned, though. Off it goes. It does bring a little bit of snow to Ottawa and Montreal. But on the wind front, we've got the winds, especially with there's no friction really on Lake Huron because it's largely frozen over. And then the winds ease by the time we get into late Wednesday. The winds really won't be so much of an issue. But today and early start of tomorrow, the winds a little bit gusty for sure. That low pressure system does move into the Atlantic provinces, merging with yet another Gulf low. Low pressure system here south of Toronto later this week by Friday stays south of us. We'll see if we get any changes on that. But at this point, by Saturday, we should be well into high pressure. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for bringing that to our attention. We've been dealing with some very cold morning lows, record-breaking the last couple of mornings, and that is increasing the amount of ice on Niagara Falls. With details on that, here's Kevin Yard. Us Arctic nations, really, we all know how to deal with the cold, right? Well, we've been dealing with cold the last couple of mornings, no question. Now we've got some snowfall on the way. And with this system coming in, it does help to moderate our temperatures, at least temporarily. There will be some higher totals of snowfall up toward Goderich and Midwestern, I guess we call that Western Ontario, and then back into the Oshawa and east areas of Oshawa. Actually, we should see a little bit of lake effect too, but generally 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. And this afternoon, some gustier winds expected too, especially near the shorelines of the Great Lakes. That system passes through and we should have some drier conditions on the way tomorrow, but some gusty conditions persist today. Well, here's the good news. As the days tick by, the days are getting longer. At least there's more daylight, right? So it may be helping you to sleep better or maybe not. With more details on how the weather influences our sleeping patterns, here's Kelly. Thanks so much, Kelly. Well, the barometric pressure is going to be going down a little bit as this low pressure system comes in to the region. And we're talking about, in most cases, 2 to 4 centimeters, but there locally could be areas like along the north shore of Lake Ontario with some lake effect, because keep in mind, the gusty winds we've been experiencing from time to time has broken up some of the ice cover on Lake Ontario, which exposes the water beneath and allows for the moisture necessary for lake effect. So we may see some areas that could go as high as, say, 8 centimeters of snow. But the winds, yeah, they're going to be gusty, probably gusting to 80 kilometers per hour here in some cases. And then across the southern lakes, some gusty winds at times, maybe not as bad as those expected near Lake Huron. And then the winds will ease up a little bit for us. So some gusty conditions and some light snow on the way later today for the GTA. Off goes that low pressure system, becomes the next low in Atlantic Canada. We've got another one hot on its heels moving across. This next low here appears to stay south of Toronto and southern Ontario as we head into Friday. But the trend for temperatures is that we're staying on the chillier side of things. Thank you so much for that, Kim. And we have some snow on the way. I wouldn't say that we're going to be seeing a lot of it, but still a little bit of snow headed our way. Kim was just mentioning about Niagara Falls, and that's exactly where we find Kevin Yard. It is a beautiful scene, no question, and it's in our own backyard, so we've got to get out there. Just dress for the conditions. We have snowfall in place, especially in areas that are exposed to the lakes themselves because there's ice cover and there's not as much friction. So we're talking very strong winds in Midwestern Ontario up toward the Bruce Peninsula and gusty along the lower lakes too. Once that low pressure system moves away, it looks like we're free and clear from snowfall, at least for the foreseeable future. The last couple of mornings have been record-breaking. It's been so cold, and even in central Quebec, we've been breaking records for cold in the minus 40s, in fact. All of that cold has contributed to more ice on the Great Lakes and more ice on Niagara Falls. Let's turn it over to Kevin Yard and get an update. Sure will. Thank you so much, Kevin. And the conditions, yeah, we've got some snow on the way, that's for sure. Want to give you an update now on an interesting topic that Kelly Noseworthy is tackling, and that is your sleep. Have a look. Thanks so much, Kelly. Yeah, it's amazing to think that light can be such a therapeutic thing, isn't it? But let's take a look at what's going on with our weather, because we do have some snow on the way. Generally less than 5 centimeters of snow with our low pressure system coming through. In some areas with some enhancement east of Oshawa, we could see slightly higher amounts because we've had some winds that's broken up the ice on Lake Ontario, and with that more available moisture here for lake effect versus the other Great Lakes. But we have the system coming through that will bring some snowfall, as we mentioned, but the winds will be strong. In some cases here through Midwestern Ontario and the lower lakes where there's less friction, obviously, in the ice cover. But then the winds ease. And really from that point forward, through the weekend, it's looking pretty calm weather-wise. You can't say the same for eastern Canada. We've been breaking records, I mentioned off the top, in the minus 40s here up toward Lac Saint-Jean earlier, the minus 20s easily in southern Ontario. But again, the temperatures, we're going to be definitely staying on the cold side as we go through this weekend, probably in the range for Toronto of about -7, -8, both Saturday, Sunday.